Hey, what's up guys? DiplexHeated here again. Someone's drilling for oil outside my apartment building and it just started raining, but hopefully you can't hear any of that. Welcome back to Men of War Assault Squad 2. We're going to take a look at the Japanese defenses before the Russians commit to their assault. This is 1945. We've converted the map that we previously used for our British beach assault, the German line defense, to a more far eastern scenario and setting. It looks pretty good. I think you'll agree. There's a 20mm gun right there and 4 machine gun positions and plenty of infantry covering the beach. We have also modified the beach heavily. It used to be quite empty, not all too defended, a couple of tank obstacles and perhaps some barbed wire, but now it's quite crowded, and it might actually work for the Russians, not against them, because it'll provide them with a lot of cover that they wouldn't have otherwise. Further back, we see a truck with a 20mm gun on it that has arrived from the road back there, and it's kind of made its way down here. You can see the tracks. It's gone off-road. Looking pretty cool, covered by some infantry as well. And to the right of that truck, we have another Japanese position, just a couple of sandbags. And you'll notice that there's more weapon variety now that it's 1945. Plenty of submachine guns as well. The Type 100 SMG that wasn't actually heavily produced until the end of 1943. And by the time they started mass producing that gun, it was kind of outdated to a lot of other submachine guns. And here's the road and here's the river. You recognize that. There's a little bit of a... I think that's a fishing boat. And we've removed the positions along the river. I thought they were too crowded and then too close up to the other lines. And we've also removed the bunkers. 2 more machine guns and a mortar covering the bottom of the hill. And then as we approach the hill that we built in the previous episode, we have an AT gun, 2 more machine guns, and a 90mm mortar. So this is like the little round top that the Russians would ultimately pretty much have to clear out first. And then there's the big round top, which is higher than the other one, and it covers a bigger area, and it'll also cover the kind of valley between the 2 hills, so that'll be quite cool. There's the mortar, there's the machine gun, plenty of infantry too. Hopefully this will be quite nice. Alright guys, we're going to start the battle. Let's take a closer look at the beach itself. Plenty of tank obstacles and a lot of these wooden beams sticking out of the water to prevent boats to get too close to the beach itself. We'll see if the obstacles will be enough to stop the Russian ships coming in here. These landing crafts are slow, but they're sturdy. Look at the construction here. They've got like a ramming ability to them. A lot of metal, a lot of heavy forging, and I bet they pack quite a good punch there with the engine. It's a very formidable craft. It's not very fast. It's not very nimble, but in a situation like this where there's plenty of obstacles and where you want to get closer to the enemy, you don't want to be waddling around out in the water and swimming about with sharks and stuff. You want to get closer to the shallow water, so hopefully they'll come in handy. We'll see what they can do to the obstacles here. And they'll ram right through them. Look at that. That is sweet. Won't even hit the tank obstacle, but it'll end its tour and its reign with that. Everyone is jumping out. And right now, they are all attacking the beach in full effect here. We've got about 60 Russian Marines assaulting. And the Japanese positions are returning fire. We have an officer down there using his binoculars. The 20mm gun is just tearing up the beach completely. Look at the firepower. Ooh. Russian naval artillery dealt with that sucker, though. And more naval infantry is moving up. We've got another 40 or so men coming in. Weapons ready, boys. And I like the constructions back here. The kind of like a little bell tower, where I presume the Japanese would ring it to alert the nearby garrisons and troops that the Russians are indeed invading. For being the map that we made to look like Normandy, I think we've done a pretty good job at converting it to a more Chinese setting, or North Korean in this case. Machine guns are still active. And we're going to help the Russians get out of their boats here. The second wave is not automated, so we're just going to tell the Marines to jump out and fight with dedication and skill. And once the Russian Marines have secured the beach, well, if they can secure the beach to begin with, the Russians are going to land armor and regular infantry to assault the hill back there. The Marines will not be enough to take down all of the Japanese defenses. More explosions can be seen. Perhaps that's from the ships out on the sea. Could be grenades, of course, too. The machine guns are still very active. Most of the infantry have died, but the machine guns are quite well covered, so the Russian infantry probably needs to get a lot closer to take him out. Look at the amount of bullets hitting the sandbags there. Well. Russian infantry moving up. Hoorah! Good on them, good on them. Oh, the positions back here now are starting to open fire at the Russians, who have kind of cleared out the first line of defense. Mind you, this is not a line defense battle. This is more of an historical scenario. Oh, wow. Russian Navy. Look at that. More boats have arrived with machine gun support, but the beach defenses have more or less been dealt with already. So we're just going to go ahead and have these Russian elite sailors jump out of the boats and join in with a fight. They're going to even swim under the boat. That's how hardcore they are. Their naval hats are glued to their heads. Would you know? Some machine guns there that would provide covering fire if there were still Japanese defenders by the beach. Look at that. Hoorah! Oh, a BTR has arrived. Or that's what the vehicle category is in the game, at least, but a lot of people seem to get upset when I call this thing a BTR, so we'll call it an infantry fighting vehicle, an IFV. Some infantry has been disembarked from the IFV as well nearby. So technically also a half-track. There's seems to be an officer of some sort, maybe perhaps a lieutenant, laying down some fire there with his squad. They're really sticking together here. Good machine gun fire, good rifle fire. The Russians are out in the open, but they do have some cover here in form of the houses and whatnot. Someone's doing their laundry, but well. We'll take a look at the casualties towards the end of the battle, so don't worry, we're not going to miss out on that. The machine guns on this vehicle is still opening up a lot. A lot of the crew members have died, but there's still one guy manning it, and he's going to open up as much as possible. Look at the amount of shrapnel. Oh, and he's shot down completely. Perhaps that was an SVT-40 that took him out. And more Marines are moving up. Hoorah! And they're still fighting back there. We're going to go ahead and land the main force here, and we're going to take on the hill and see what we can do. I'm super excited. Oh, the defenses by the bottom of the hill is taking a lot of fire right now. Being pummeled quite nicely. Two T-34-85s have been deployed and a T-70 scout tank. The mortar is opening up here. That's a 60mm mortar. There's an officer providing targets in the center as well. Plenty of infantry. The machine gun position on the left has been completely knocked out, but the one on the right here is still kicking. Tanks are starting to cross. Regular infantry are starting to cross as well. We'll take a look at the hill now, because it's going to be the thing in the center of focus from now on. This is pretty much the last defensive line the Japanese have, and they need to really take out all three of the tanks to stop this Russian coastal assault, so to speak. The 80 crew is stressed. They're not putting their heart into it. They fired way too early there and completely missed the tank. This is a 75mm gun, and that's one of the T-34-85s down. Oh man, the T-70 is running up as well. It's going to avoid being shot at for now. Oh, they're going to change target. It's a stationary tank. That T-70 is now. Oh, they're having an argument of what tank to shoot at. The more dangerous one at the back, or the one closer to the actual battle. They're going to shoot completely miss. They're going to stressfully load as the Russian infantry and tanks are getting closer. The machine gun position down there by the hill is just taking so much fire. And I think the Russian infantry and Marines and the tanks are going to start focusing. Oh, that tank took another hit. Let's look at the Russians. How's it looking? It's still active. It still has its targets, perhaps. Nope, it's taking fire again. Oh, the T-70 with a direct hit. Must have fired an HE shell. It only has a 45mm gun, but that was a really accurate gun. And I just think they struck gold or something. There's this huge drill outside. What are they drilling for? What could they potentially... They're like opening up the street. They've got like a 1,000 feet of, I don't know, drill that they just keep attaching and stuff. You know how they do it? You don't have one long drill. You do segments of it, like attachments and stuff. Well, there's the AT gun down. And the infantry's going to start rushing up. There's the T-70 moving up, shooting at the, well, what remains of this position. Infantry's moving up. And that machine gun position right now is just opening up. This is really cool. It's some thin red line stuff going on right here, except there's Russians attacking. I think we did good with the hills. I really think we did. I'm actually very proud of what we've created here together. And in the next video, we're probably going to work on some other positions further back. That 90mm mortar's kicking into work now. And what is the T-70 doing? It's a light tank. It's going to have an easier time getting up this hill, I think, than any of the other tanks. But it's definitely going for it. And there's no AT left, but there are AT grenades. Look at the Russian assault here. This is massive. If I were them, I'd spread out more, but that doesn't seem to be the case. They're going for the next target. Oh, look at them. Look at the pure mass. Oh, nice mortar hit. The Japanese are holding it down. The tree's going down. Another one was hit. Rushing over the hill. The tank is moving up to support. If the Russians get too caught up, they're going to be pinned and ultimately just destroyed by the mortars. They have a good 30 men remaining, about a platoon, but that's going to decrease drastically if the mortar keeps firing at them. The Japanese might even secure a victory today. I don't think it's likely. It's not unlikely, but I'm not sure if I'll call it likely. Look at the tank. It's like backing up on these guys. I'm not sure if it's backing is a good idea. Perhaps its reverse gear is stronger than the other one, and it came to a stop here. And they're trying to communicate with the Japanese. I'm not sure what's going on, but that tank is not doing anything. They don't have any AT grenades, so they're just like, if we stand still, perhaps they won't notice us. I'm not sure what's going on, but they're probably scared shitless. Mortars are still steering in, the infantry moving up. Some people are trying to rush. We got a PPSH gunner moving up here. It's all very, very cool. I don't know if the tank ran out of fuel, or if it got stuck on the sandbags, or if someone died. I have no idea, but it's not really combat active right now. Oh, look at the Russian infantry. It's pinned. They can't take the hill right now. They're all staying down in cover, taking mortar fire. How many's alive? I have no idea. What do we call it? 15? 20 at most? It's hard to distinguish the alive from dead here with all the craters and casualties. But they would have could really have used those T-34-85s. Good on the AT gun for taking out both of them, to be honest. I think that's quite impressive. Well, the mortar stopped firing, but this T-70 is still active. Something's ought to happen. It's definitely not disabled. I think it's just not sure what it's doing right now. It's not communicating with infantry. They're out of command range from each other, so there's no... I'm not sure, but they know there's people up there. Look at them. This is interesting. This is where the battle comes and slows down a bit, where perhaps sneaking up towards the enemies a bit earlier. They've lost a lot of their scouts up here. The machine gun is still active, but 1, 2, 3 men dead. 4, 5 infantrymen, a machine gunner, and a mortar crew. And now they're opening up again. Oh, God. Look at them, they're pulling back. The Russians are going to have to land more infantry and armor, and the Japanese are going to afford themselves some time to reinforce the positions and clean up the mess. And I think, my friends, we're going to see another battle coming up very soon where the Russians attempt to assault this position again during the night. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? So what we have to do is we have to fill up this map with more things, perhaps the city back here, and then do this again, another attempt where the Russians will be attacking over the river once more. But because right now, that isn't going to happen. I'm going to take quick command of this tank. It obviously doesn't want to go anywhere on itself, and we're just going to pull it out. It's going to pull out. I'm not sure what it tried to achieve by going up there and stopping, but you can't quite always explain the AI, so look at them. The Russians are retreating. Everyone's pulling out. They cannot take the hill. The Japanese held it this time, but the Russians are, of course, having secured the beach, going to land more troops. They're going to try it again, but the Japanese are going to have time to prepare their defenses, so look forward to this in an upcoming video. Be sure not to miss it, and I'll see you guys soon again. Oh. Casualties, of course. Japanese casualties in yellow and Russian casualties in red. Well, it's been... the hills worked. The hills really proved to be a defensive and strategical obstacle, so to speak, with quite a lot of value. And look at this river. Wow. Everyone's just butchered. Beaches, too. Plenty of infantry down here that have died trying to take the beach. It's what you would expect. What a crazy battle. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Well, I'll see you guys soon again. Bye.